one word, Creese. Now, you could take this with a grain of salt. You could think I'm totally being out of my mind here. But the fact of the matter is, this is canon in the Cobra Kai and Karate Kid universe. So, I'm going to run with it because I don't think that anything on this show is a coincidence. Nothing on this show is a coincidence. These writers who write Cobra Kai, they are they're super fans. They're super fans. They know more about it than anyone. I'm sure they know more about the Karate Kid than the people who actually wrote the Karate Kid, because that's how much they've watched it and studied it. It's like a religion to them. It's like speaking English or reading a book. It's just or just talking. It comes second nature to them. So I just purchased the issue 3 of the Cobra Kai comic, which I am very much enjoying the series. It has a lot of great stuff, so I recommend, if you're a Cobra Kai fan, definitely get these issues because they are very interesting. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff because it explores the Karate Kid story from Johnny's perspective, which I think is amazing. And, you know, by exploring Johnny's perspective of the Karate Kid, you're going to get Kreese, because part of Johnny's journey in the Karate Kid is through Kreese's training. Kreese influences who he is in the Karate Kid. So, with issues 1 and 2, I love them. I cried when I read the first one. But they didn't really add anything crazy to the Karate Kid Cobra Kai universe. There was nothing that I took from it and I was like, whoa, like, what if this happens in season 3 or 5 because of what they said in this comic? This comic is doing this, that which reference. No, like there wasn't real. It's just like behind the scenes from Johnny's perspective. Nothing too crazy nothing that we didn't know. So when I got the 3rd issue, I didn't really know what to expect. I've been loving the series and enjoying it for what it is, but now I stumbled upon a page. Well, I didn't stumble upon it. I was reading it. But there was a page that really caught my eye. As soon as I flipped the page and I saw it, I was like, and you could check my reaction video. I did a reaction video reacting to the comic where I first noticed it. So make sure to check that out. And I was shocked, because I didn't think that they were going to go down this direction, and they didn't really go down it that much, but they did. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Now, just a disclaimer, the writers of Cobra Kai did not make this comic book. I don't think they really had that much to do with it. Maybe they had a little bit, like, maybe they just kind of said, hey, don't do this, don't write this, because we're going to do this in our show. Because the comic book, they can't implement rules in the comic book that affect the story. You know, they can't, like, because this is canon. This is canon. This is part of the Karate Kid Cobra Kai universe. So they're not going to put something in this comic and then the writers are like, on season 4, and they're like, wait a second, we can't add this because in the comic they said this. They're not going to do that. It's the show comes first, and they have to model this based on where the show is going. So I'm sure they had a discussion about what they could and couldn't do. And you know, for the first 2 issues, there wasn't really that much to you know, they just stuck to the original story. We just saw a little bit from Johnny's perspective. Nothing that greatly changed anything. But there is something in issue 3 that I was shocked to see. And it you know, it may not be a big deal, but I think it is. I think it is, because this is actually something that will, I'm pretty sure, play into season 3. And that is Kreese's backstory. So in season 2, well, at the end of season 1, we were introduced to Creese again, for the last 30 seconds, so that doesn't really count. So season 2, we have Creese. Now, we get the whole story of Kreese's, we get Kreese's backstory, where he's been. He's been back in Vietnam training soldiers and whatever. even though we found out that wasn't true, we found out that he was actually just trying to get by. He didn't have a job. He barely had any money. He was staying at a shelter. So, but at the same time, we don't really know that much. We do know, we understand what happened to him after Cobra Kai shut down. I think we'll get a little more into that, but what we don't know is why Kreese is like the way he is. We found out why Johnny was the way that he is, and that's because of Kreese. Sorry, this keeps falling down. Johnny is all about the no mercy, strike first because of Kreese. So now the real question is, why is Kreese like that? You know, Kreese taught Johnny strike first, strike hard. So we know why Johnny's like that, because Kreese taught him. And considering Kreese founded Cobra Kai, we can't just say, oh, Kreese's sensei taught him. No, like, something happened that made Kreese into this kind of person who's all about striking first, strike hard, no mercy. And considering we didn't really get that much backstory in season 2, which I was fine with. I thought that was fine. I don't think we needed that. I think that in season 3, we are going to get that backstory. I really do believe that, because at first I was thinking, you know, we need Terry Silver or Mike Barnes back right away. But we really don't. I think they could, if they are, I want them to come back. Hopefully they come at the end of the season. I think they should come at the end of the season, because I would like to, I want Kreese to be the villain, the main villain. I want him to be really important in this season, because he was important in season 2, but he was kind of lurking in the shadows. You know, Johnny was running the show there. Johnny was running the show. Kreese was there. You know, he had his moments, but he was kind of on a leash. You know, he was on a leash. He was on Johnny's leash. And in season 2, episode 10, we saw him off that leash when he's like this, holding the collar, when he's when he owns Cobra Kai. We saw him off that leash, and I was like, holy crap. I want to see that Kreese in season 3. I loved what we got in season 2, and I think it was a perfect build-up for him being off that leash. It's like, if you have a dog on a leash, well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what, it's not really that good of an analogy. It kind of is. If you have a dog and it's on a leash, you know, it can only go so far. But you let that dog go, you take the dog off the leash, and it could go wherever. So now, I feel like in season 2, Kreese was on a leash with Johnny, and you know, we saw those moments, like when Johnny wasn't there, we saw him going off the leash, but now there's no leash. The leash is gone. We got no leash. So now, I know I've been very vague about this, like, okay, well, what's the backstory? I just want to explain the background, but we're going to get to the backstory right now. So, basically, it's right over here. Creese and Betsy. Now, I'm going to read it, and then I'll show you guys, and we'll get to it. So, basically, at this part of the story, we have, Johnny is training for the All Valley tournament, and Creese is saying strike first, strike hard, no mercy. We're not trying to be merciful here. So then Johnny, so basically they're fighting, and Johnny's dueling against Bobby. They're just practicing, and Johnny beats him, and Bobby falls to the floor. But in normal Kreese fashion, Kreese says, finish him. Bobby's on the floor, but Kreese wants him to hit him again and really just knock him out. And Johnny won't do it. No. My bad. Bobby knocks out Johnny, and Bobby won't hit Johnny. Bobby doesn't want to hit Johnny again. So then Kreese kicks Bobby. And knocks him to the floor, says, we do not try to be merciful here. How many times do I have to say that? Dismissed. And then Kreese says, not you, Mr. Lawrence. Fall back. And he's like, just what in the hell was that? Don't tell me still having problems with that girl. You let a girl punch you, that's it. You've let her become a distraction. And then Johnny's like, well, yeah, I tried to assert my dominance over her, like you said, and she punched me. Kreese, you let a girl punch you, that's it. You've let her become a distraction. Listen, I learned this once. I learned this one a long time ago. So, Johnny's having trouble with Allie. Kreese is noticing that he's being distracted. And now Kreese is about to tell Johnny a story. And that's when we go into Betsy. Betsy? Who's Betsy? Well, here we got Kreese narrating. And I'll show you guys right here. Before I shipped out to Nam, Vietnam, I met this sweet gal named Betsy. I had it bad and she gave it good, but it had to end. Uncle Sam needed me to defend democracy, and I'd return to her a hero. Her little red envelopes kept me going during long nights in the bush until ... So that's the flashback, and then it goes back to normal time, and then Kreese is like, until... Trust me, son, just forget the girl. What the fudge nuggets? Okay. I'll tell you why this is a big deal. There's 2 reasons that stand out to me. One, we actually have a Kreese backstory. Like, we see it. We see young Kreese. That's young Kreese and Betsy. We see it. Like, we're seeing his backstory. But what really stands out to me, he could have just said it. He could have said, I came back and she moved on from me. But he says, her little red envelopes kept me going during long nights in the bush until... And then he continues, until... So, and then he says, trust me, son, just forget the girl. He can't say it. Whatever it is, whatever until is, he can't say it. So, oh my God, this is like insane. So, Johnny's having trouble with Allie, and Kreese is saying, I've been through something similar. He met this girl, Betsy, and then he said he came back to her a hero. Her little red envelopes kept me going during long nights in the bush until he just doesn't say why. And then he just changes conversation. He doesn't change the conversation, but he's like, until, trust me, son, just forget the girl. So he doesn't want to say why it didn't work out. He is not telling Johnny why it didn't work out. Now, he's telling, like, oh my God, how do I explain this? If you were, oh my God, if this were like part of the comic book, if this were just for the comic, Kreese would have finished the story to tell Johnny the lesson. Because we never really got the lesson. You know what I mean? Like, Kreese is trying to tell Johnny his experience to kind of teach him why he shouldn't let Allie distract him. But Kreese can't say it for some reason. He can't finish it. Why is that? Unless it were to be played upon later. Because right now, that story did not affect Johnny. It did not help Johnny. If Kreese had finished his thought, if he had said, it didn't work out between me and her. If he had just said that, then it would have been like, okay, then that's it. Like, Johnny learned. But he's not, he can't say it for some reason. Which it's probably something important. He returned home. They were in love. And then what? We don't know. He can't say. So maybe that has something to do with his no mercy personality. I don't know. He was already in Vietnam. But maybe that like triggered it even more. It's just, and then they never address it again. I was like, I kind of wanted to skim the pages to see if we would get something more explaining it, because when I first reacted to seeing it on my other video, this was the reaction I had, but I wasn't sure if they were going to go into it later, but they don't. Now, they could go into it in the 4th comic book, but I don't think they will, because there's so much they have to do. You know, they're at the tournament. In the 4th comic book, they're going to be at the tournament. You're going to have Johnny and Daniel. Like, there's going to be a lot going on. I don't think we're going to get a Kreese flashback explanation. And number 4 is the last comic book. So there's not that much here. You know, we've all wondered what Kreese was like. Did he have a girlfriend? Was he ever in love? Or, I mean, maybe he did. I was certainly curious. Did he ever, because, you know, he's a grown man. Like, I mean, not everyone has to be married, but, you know, you would think, like, maybe he would be married, but he just isn't. So why isn't he married? You know, there should be a reason. So Betsy may be an important part of who he is as a character. Maybe we'll see Betsy in season 3. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they're going to take that in this direction, considering we've never really seen it. So, you know, I don't know. It's kind of tough, because in season 3, say like Kreese goes to a restaurant and then Betsy comes in. We don't really have that much of a connection with Betsy to really care enough, other than knowing that it's Kreese's girlfriend. I mean, not many people are probably going to read the comic books, so if you're seeing her in the show, they have to introduce her. They can't. It's not going to be like a nostalgic moment. Oh my God, it's Betsy! Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, not many people are going to read the comic book. Now, if they tied this in, this would be a big tie-in. I don't know if they will, honestly. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. But I think it's possible. Because we do know that they're going into... I just messed up my thing, but it's staying still now. We do know that they're going to... Well, I mean, we don't know for 100% sure, but I really believe that they're going to dive into Kreese's backstory in season 3. Okay? And if they do, this comic book needs to have the continuity. That's the word. It has to have the continuity with the show. So basically, what I'm trying to get across is, if in season 3, we're learning about Kreese, why he's the way he is, they can't say that he had a lover named Sarah, who he met before Vietnam, because in this comic, he met Betsy, you know? So we don't even know if they will explain a girlfriend or a wife or something in the show. We don't know if they're going to get that far into his backstory. But if they do, which I think we will get something. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think we will get something. Maybe not a girlfriend, but maybe definitely his war experience. But I feel like a girlfriend or something would be cool, because it would show the human side to him. But I just don't know. I mean, I can't see why they would set this up. It's like a setup. It's a setup. It's like I was watching Star Wars, and you had Finn, one of the characters. They're all falling into quicksand or whatever, and they're sinking. And then Finn was like, "Rey, I never told you," and then they fell in. And then now, so we never heard what Finn wanted to tell Rey. What he was like, "I never told you," and then they sink. We never heard what they want to tell Rey. So it's setting something up. It's setting up for the future. What did Finn have to tell Rey? Like that, it's setting it up. So if he just finished his story, it would have been fine. But the fact that he says, "Her little red envelopes kept me going during long nights in the bush until..." And then even his face. Look at his face. He's angry kind of, or he just can't talk. He can't get himself to talk. And he's like, "Trust me, son, just forget the girl." So we didn't know what went wrong with him and Betsy. But obviously it was something bad because he's saying, forget the girl. Like, I had the same experience. But we don't know what exactly it was. And I think that by not explaining what it was in this comic, it's setting something up. He literally can't finish his thought. Why can't he finish his thought? What happened? Was it really that bad? Like, was it really, like, detrimental? Oh my God. I just find this extremely fascinating. Maybe it has nothing to do with anything. Maybe they just never, maybe it was just random. I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do with anything. We'll never explore it ever again. But once again, this show is very, very, very true to Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. And I'm going to make a video on this. I know I didn't discover it. Someone else discovered it a while before me. But I think I'm going to make a video on it just to explain my thoughts on this. Mike Barnes. In episode 1 of season 1, Johnny's on the phone with his boss, Mike. Now, that's not a coincidence. They didn't just have a guy there named Mike. Maybe they did. Maybe he is just a random guy. Maybe he's just Johnny's boss, you know. Maybe he's not Mike Barnes. Maybe he's just another Mike. But the fact of the matter is that they didn't do that on purpose. Or they didn't do that coincidental. They didn't have the boss named Mike and it's like, oh yeah, that's the same name as Mike Barnes. No, they knew what they were doing. And I think that might tie into later. I think Johnny's boss could be Mike Barnes. You never know. So if in season 3 we get a Betsy, then we know that they are really tying everything together. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know, but at the same time, it's setting something up. So I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those setups and then there's no payoff. Or maybe we'll get a payoff in the comic book. I don't know. I really don't know. So we'll have to wait for the 4th comic book and then season 3. So maybe we'll get our answer in the 4th comic book. And then if not, maybe we'll get it in season 3. If we don't get it then Betsy's probably just a random person. But let's hope that Betsy is someone. I think Betsy could be someone. Man, this is crazy. Creese has a girlfriend. Ooh. So, if you guys enjoyed this theory or breakdown, reaction, whatever you want to call it, make sure to hit that subscribe button, karate chop it. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. I'm really appreciating the support from you guys. We're really getting the channel up there and all the stuff, and I'm really enjoying making content, and I'm so glad that we are able to build this community here on Cobra Kai Kid. I love you guys, and I really appreciate all of you, and I really want to take this channel to new heights, new levels. I have my big Cobra Kai episode 1 recreation project coming. I've been working on that for over a year, and we got more to come. So make sure to share the channel with your friends. Comment below. Do you think Betsy is a thing? Do you think this will actually happen or not? I mean, comment if you agree with me that they are setting something up. I think they are setting something up. Maybe they're not, but it seems like they are, you know. So we'll just have to wait and see. So until next time, my fellow Cobras and Miyagi-Dos, remember, Cobra Kai never dies.